1800 hours Pakistan Standard Time. Assalamu alaikum. This is Radio Pakistan. The news read by Daman Zaman. The headlines. The Federal Cabinet, which met in Islamabad today with the Prime Minister and the Chair, discussed the overall economic and political situation of the country. The Chairman Senate says friendly relations between Pakistan and China are setting new direction of socio-economic development of the region. The Foreign Minister has said India has introduced controversial legislation such as the Citizens Amendment Act and National Register of Citizens to crush the minorities. In the Indian illegally occupied Jammu and Kashmir, chant Jai Shri Ram or Leave Kashmir, a purely Hindu slogan, has become the Modi-led fascist Indian government's new diktat for Kashmiris. In India, farmers protested against the enactment of new farm laws and observed a nationwide shutdown today. Palestine has urged the international community to take serious action against Israel to retreat from implementing its plans to build thousands of housing units in East Jerusalem. And now the news in detail. The Federal Cabinet met in Islamabad today with the Prime Minister Imran Khan in the chair. The meeting discussed the overall economic and political situation of the country. The Chairman Senate Sadiq Sanjarani says friendly relations between Pakistan and China are setting new direction of socio-economic development of the region. Talking to the Chinese ambassador Non Rong in Islamabad today, he said exchange of parliamentary delegations has enhanced bilateral, social, political and economic relations of the two countries. The Chairman Senate said parliamentary democracy plays a pivotal role in strengthening bilateral contacts, and promotion of people-to-people contacts will further strengthen economic partnership between the two countries. Sadiq Sanjarani said China-Pakistan Economic Corridor will bring prosperity and development to the region. Speaking on the occasion, the Chinese ambassador said the two countries' vision of development and the China-Pakistan Economic Corridor will turn this region into a hub of international trade. He said Pakistan is a very important country for China and we are jointly making efforts for regional development. The Special Assistant to the Prime Minister on National Security, Moeed Yusuf, has called for enhanced coordination among different think tanks in the country. He was chairing the 7th meeting of the Advisory Board of the National Security Committee in Islamabad. Prominent think tanks of the country attended the meeting, where matters pertaining to peace and stability in the region were discussed. The meeting also dilated upon international affairs and proposals for peace, security and development in the region. It also discussed important regional security issues and their implications on Pakistan. The Special Assistant to the Prime Minister on Political Communication, Dr. Shahbaz Gill, has said the country's exports to the United States have exceeded $400 million in a single month for the first time in the history of the country. In a tweet today, he said Pakistani exporters sold goods to the United States worth $430 million in the month of October, while $437 million in November. Shahbaz Gill questioned as to why the opposition wants to protest against such historic economic achievements of the government. The Special Assistant to the Prime Minister on National Health Services, Dr. Faisal Sultan, has again urged the people to strictly adhere to the precautionary measures to contain the spread of COVID-19 as the second wave is more lethal and severe in Pakistan. Talking to the media at the National Command and Operations Centre in Islamabad today, he said the second wave of COVID-19 is getting intensified as 89 people have died of coronavirus during the last 24 hours. He said increasing number of corona cases is a threat as it can badly impact our economy, education and healthcare system, which was already overburdened. 89 more people died of coronavirus in the country during the last 24 hours. According to the latest statistics, 2,885 people were tested positive during the last 24 hours after conducting the tests of 33,610 people. The figure of patients recovered from the infection has reached 370,474. There are now 44,218 active cases in the country. This is Radio Pakistan. The Foreign Minister Shah Mahmood Qureshi says India has introduced controversial legislation such as the Citizen Amendment Act and National Register of Citizens to crush the minorities. In a statement, he said no minority, including Muslims, Dalits, Sikhs and Christians, was safe in India. The Foreign Minister said the whole world is witness to Delhi riots in which several Muslims were killed and properties on large scale were ransacked. He said the construction of temple at the site of Babri Mosque reflects the Hindutva mindset. Shah Mahmood Qureshi said the Indian forces are also persecuting Muslims in the Indian-occupied Jammu and Kashmir. In the Indian illegally occupied Jammu and Kashmir, chants Jai Shri Ram or Leave Kashmir, a purely Hindu slogan, has become the Modi-led fascist Indian government's new diktat for the Kashmiris. An analytical report released by the Kashmir Media Service today said the Indian troops during cordon and search operations barge into civilian houses, drag inmates out of the house in the middle of the night and order them to chant the Hindu slogan. Those who refused to comply, the report added, were subjected to severe torture and violence. They also faced life or imprisonment threats as the Rashtriya Savayam Sevak Sangh goons are out to convert India as well as occupied Kashmir into a Hindu Rashtra. In India, farmers protested against the new farm laws and observed a nationwide shutdown. Today, they blocked the national highways and other key roads at many places in the Punjab, Haryana and Delhi to press for repeal of the centre's new farm laws. Shops and commercial establishments remain closed at most places as traders backed the agitating farmers. Meanwhile, leaders of 11 opposition parties, including the Congress, assured full support to farmers in the protest against the unjust new agriculture laws introduced by the Modi government. Kuwait's Amir Sheikh Nawaf Al Ahmad As Sabah, following parliamentary polls, reappointed Sheikh Sabah Al Khalid As Sabah as the Prime Minister today. The state media said Sheikh Nawaf has asked Sheikh Sabah to nominate members of the new cabinet for approval. Palestine has urged the international community to take serious action against Israel to retreat from implementing its plans to build 9,000 housing units at Atarot in East Jerusalem. The Foreign Ministry said in a statement in Ramallah that escalating Israeli settlement activity in occupied territories poses a blatant challenge to the international will for peace. China has urged the United States to rebuild mutual trust, enhance dialogue and cooperation to restore peace and prosperity for humanity. Talking to the American delegation in Beijing, the Foreign Minister Wang Yi said future of China-US relations hinges on the correct choices made by the United States and joint efforts of the two sides. The United States President-elect Joe Biden has chosen the first black retired General Lloyd Austin as his defense secretary. The 67-year-old Lloyd Austin would be the second Pentagon chief in 4 years to need a waiver after President Donald Trump picked James Mattis, a retired Marine general, to be his first defense secretary. The United Nations General Assembly has adopted a resolution calling on Russia to end its occupation of Crimea, Ukraine. In a statement, it urged the Russian Federation to immediately and unconditionally withdraw its forces from Crimea, the territory of Ukraine, without any delay. Prominent businessman, former President, Karachi Chambers of Commerce and Industry and chairman of the Businessman Group, Siraj Qasim Teli, passed away in Dubai. The President, Dr. Arif Alvi, the Sindh Governor Imran Ismail and the Chief Minister Syed Murad Ali Shah have expressed their grief and sorrow over the sad demise of the renowned businessman. The president, in his message, offered condolences to the bereaved family of Siraj Qasim Teli, saying that he was his friend and a businessman of great repute in Karachi. The president prayed that may Allah the Almighty rest his soul in peace and grant his friends and family the strength to bear this loss. The governor and chief minister then lauded the services of Siraj Qasim Teli for the country. They also prayed that Allah the Almighty rest his soul in eternal bliss and peace. And finally, the weather. Rain with snowfall over the hills is expected in Upper Punjab, Upper Khyber Pakhtunkhwa, Gilgit-Baltistan and Kashmir during the next 24 hours. However, cloudy weather conditions are likely to prevail in most upper parts of the country. Fog is likely in some areas of the Punjab and Upper Sindh during morning hours. And that is the end of this news bulletin. For more news and analyses, log on to our website, radio.gov.pk, and you can also watch the live video streaming of our bulletins on the link facebook.com/Radio Pakistan News Official.